What has the European Convention on Human Rights done for us? It has provided us with a set of fundamental human rights, basic liberties and freedoms that we can have enforced, and not just in the domestic courts in the UK, but also in Europe, in Strasbourg, the European Court of Human Rights, if we feel that the national authorities, the national courts, have not provided adequate protection. There have been major breakthroughs as a result of the jurisprudence of the European Court of Human Rights. Equality, the right against discrimination, and the right to privacy virtually did not exist prior to the incorporation of the Convention through the Human Rights Act. And we should not just ask what the Convention has done for the UK, we may also ask the question of what the UK has done for the Convention, because historically it has played a very important role in the construction of the system of rights protection across Europe. So it would be very paradoxical, it would be very counterintuitive if the UK now withdrew from that system. Is there a need to reform the European Court of Human Rights? Of course there is a need for reform. In a way, the court has been the victim of its own success. Every year it is flooded with thousands of applications, and very often it doesn't have the capacity to respond to them effectively and in a timely manner. So yes, there are certain things that need to be revisited, and in fact there has already been change, and a lot of that has been triggered by the UK. Which again reinforces the need for the UK to remain part of the system. On the government's proposals to repeal the Human Rights Act, there is a great need for clarity. We haven't an understanding of what the government is proposing to do here. I mean, Theresa May has recently suggested that she wants to fight the next election on the basis of withdrawing from the European Court of Human Rights. This, I think, would be a very dangerous step to take. Amongst other things, it would potentially trigger very negative responses in other European countries. You know, it could start a domino effect, and we are already witnessing that. Even the debate that we're currently having about potentially moving away from the European Convention on Human Rights is having an effect in countries like Russia. Russia is a good illustration where you know, a more or less fair approach to implementing the Convention is already being taken. A UK Bill of Rights should incorporate the guarantees that are already existent in the European Convention on Human Rights. And that is the situation in many other European countries, where you have a national charter of human rights working in parallel with the European Convention on Human Rights. So if that were the direction that the government were proposing to take, that would be a positive development. But I fear, and a lot of human rights experts fear, that this is not necessarily the case, and we might end up with an ECHR, European Convention on Human Rights, minus, rather than a strengthened system for the protection of human rights. I think Brexit has very important ramifications for the protection of human rights in the UK. We need to understand that we'll be moving away from EU legislation, from the jurisprudence of the Court of Justice of the European Union that has in many instances provided significant levels of protection to citizens in this country. So in a way, that sheds a new light, that places a new emphasis on the European Convention on Human Rights. Because in this new landscape of human rights, we need the Convention more urgently than before. And there might be a significant gap in terms of protecting human rights in the UK unless we continue to adhere to the European Convention on Human Rights.